Yo, what up guys? Lando's back and we're talking DraftKings. We've got everyone coming in for DraftKings this week and I am pumped. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, like this video, follow me on Twitter at LandoFF. We are Snap_Fantasy as a podcast on Twitter and Instagram. So get us there, we're posting all new stuff. But right now I'm talking about DraftKings week 1. The highest Vegas total for this week is going to be the Thursday night game. So that's not going to be on the Millionaire Maker slate. I'm talking about playing guys like Lamar, Russell, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Carson Wentz, Rodgers, Stafford. Those games are the ones I'm talking about this week and where I want to take them, what players I'm using. But let's start at the quarterback position. Right away, I'm going to go down the list when I select quarterbacks. I am still looking at Vegas on kind of points total for the game. So if you're like me and you don't have a generator, an automatic generator for your DraftKings lineups, we can go with exceptions, rules, all that kind of stuff. I do all my stuff by hand. So if you're like me, and you probably are, you're not watching this video because you're an absolute pro. You're watching this video because you need help deciding on guys. So if you're like me, my favorite games to bet on right now are going to be the Packers-Vikings game. I like playing the Indy-Jacksonville game. The Las Vegas-Carolina game is very interesting, but a lot of people are playing those stacks. So another thing about DraftKings is you want to be unique. You don't want your lineup to be replicated if you can. So I'm kind of going to stay away from that game a little bit. I am also looking at the Chargers-Cincinnati game for my lineups. When I make lineups, especially if I'm making multiple between 1 to 10, you're not going to 150 max, which is what you get in the Millie Maker. I'm going to have 2 or 3 quarterbacks that I play. That's going to be my list of quarterbacks that I play. That will, so if you do 10 lineups, I'm not going to go 10 different quarterbacks. There's no point. You're kind of spreading yourself too thin. So I'm going to pick 10 quarterbacks so I'm picking 3 quarterbacks to decide on, and I will tell you those quarterbacks I'm going with. Aaron Rodgers is number 1. I'm going to go with that. I am putting Aaron Rodgers in several of my lineups. I don't think the Vikings defense is as good as it was. That could be a bit of a shootout game. I'm playing Tyrod Taylor. I think his ownership is going to be super low. I'm going to stack him with Eckler and Keenan Allen. So that's another one I'm playing. Phillip Rivers is a one I'm playing a couple times as well. I'm going to stack him with T.Y. Hilton. I don't love T.Y. Hilton with season-long matchups because he gets hurt more often than not, but I will play him week 1 because he should be the number 1 target for Phillip Rivers. And then finally, I will get one piece of that offense with the Carolina game. I'm going to play Derek Carr, and I'm going to probably stack him with Jacobs and potentially Henry Ruggs. So I'm going to go through some of my lineups, some of my plays, their costs, and then I'll give you one lineup that if you want to replicate, you can, but you could, I'll show you exactly what I'm playing, and hopefully it wins me $1 million. Let's go, guys. So number 1, I'm going to go into the NFL. If you haven't already, download the DraftKings app, go to Classic, Sunday, and then hit up that Millionaire Maker lineup. You can max enter 150, but that's a little bit expensive. That's not what I'm doing. So I'm going to scroll down here. I like Rodgers at 6,300. And what I'm going to do with Rodgers on every one of my lineups, I'm going to put him with Aaron Jones at 6,900. I'm going to put him with Davante Adams at 7,300. And then I'm going to roll it back with Adam Thielen. So what that means is you want to play, if you expect it to be a good high-scoring offense, you want one player on that other team that you think will be the recipient of the other quarterback. So for me, it's going to be Cousins to Thielen. That's my favorite lineup. You could go with Dalvin Cook. You could go with a shot on maybe Olabisi Johnson if you think that's the case. Kyle Rudolph, something like that. But for me, I can go with the number 1 receiver for Minnesota, and that is going to be Adam Thielen. So right now, I only have $4,500 left for my salary. So I need to go cheap on some other options. So DST, this week I'm playing 2. So this is where I go with my DraftKings lineup. This week I'm playing 2. I'm playing the Indianapolis Colts at 3,000. And then I'm playing the worst defense on the slate. I'm playing the $2,000 Washington Redskins. So the Philadelphia Eagles are banged up. Their offensive line is banged up. Carson Wentz is a little banged up. A lot of the wide receivers are banged up. So, and they have a new toy in that offense, or for that defense for Washington. So I'm expecting some sacks. Carson Wentz is known to take some sacks. So that's kind of what I'm going with. I'm going to save all my money playing Washington at $2,000. And if they get me 0 points or negative points, whatever, hopefully I make that up in other spots. Week 1 is so hard to predict. If I pay up at the Bills at $3,700 and the Jets score 27 points, they're not going to do me any good. So this is my strategy. You can decide. Not like objectively the Bills are a much better defense, a much better play, but right now for week 1 where you don't really know what's going to happen, I'm going to play Washington in almost one of my lineups. Do that with what you will. I'm playing Washington in almost everything. It makes my lineups look a lot better at the end, saving that $1,700. I'm going to go next and look at another running back. So for week 1, I don't mind Chris Carson at $6,200, but I still got to go cheaper here. James White, like I said, because it's PPR, should be I said in another video, James White should be a pretty good matchup. They play Miami. I like that. I like that a little bit more, especially if New England's defense is projected to be worse and Miami can score some touchdowns. But I'm going to go down the list. For me, it's between Ingram, Singletary, and Marlon Mack. Ingram's $5,500. Singletary is $5,400. And Marlon Mack is $5,300. So between those guys, those are who I'm looking at that price point. And right now, I've got Mark Ingram in a lot. I think they play the Cleveland Browns. I think that's a pretty good matchup. He scores touchdowns at a crazy rate. For him to score 2 in week 1 isn't outside the realm of possibility, especially if Lamar does not. I do like J.K. Dobbins further on in the year, but for week 1, I think Mark Ingram gets the bulk of the rolls and carries and goal line carries, so I'm going to play Mark Ingram. Right now, I've got $5,100 left. I'm going to go with tight end, and I got to go cheap here as well. One of my favorite tight ends is actually going to be Dallas Goedert, because Zach Ertz is going to be highly owned. They play Washington, obviously projected not to be a great defense, even though I'm playing them. But I'm going to go down the list, and I'm going to play Dallas Goedert at $4,100. So this is a guy that I need him to score a touchdown, and that's all you want for tight ends. So if the number one option for the Eagles is Zach Ertz, and that's no secret. So if they double cover Zach Ertz, that means Dallas Goedert is going to be a guy. They play 2 tight end sets more than almost anyone, or they play the most 2 tight end sets out of anyone, and they got to rely on Dallas Goedert. I like him for week 1, and I just need a touchdown from him to make this lineup work. My remaining salary is going up and up because now I have $5,600 to spend on my flex position and my wide receiver. So at the flex, it's showing that Millionaire Maker lineups, the more winners from last year, that's bad to say, the winners from last year played running back in the flex more often than not. So I got to go down the list here again and get into that $5,000 range for my running backs. Le'Veon Bell is interesting for me. He should get some guaranteed work. He has tweeted, he has posted on social media that he does not want to be off the field. But again, Buffalo's defense is not great. Singletary is the guy I was in between him and Marlon Mack. So those are two running backs that I like. I'm gonna go with for week 1. I'm gonna go with Marlon Mack. We are a big fan of Jonathan Taylor on this podcast, but it might take him a few weeks to get that starting role. So Marlon Mack has shown out in camp. He should be good. I hope he gets a touchdown. And that's kind of what I'm hoping at that point, at that 5,300 mark. That's all you can hope for. Now I have 5,900 left over for the wide receiver position. That gives me enough to get a stud wide receiver. And that's what I want. So, like I said, I like T.Y. Hilton at 5,800. I have 5,900 left, and Odell Beckham is an option for me here. I don't have very many Odell Beckhams already. So for this lineup, guys, I will go Odell in that spot. I've used my full salary. I don't always love using your full salary. If you leave $200 or $300 left on the table, you are more likely to have a unique lineup. If you don't, so if you think Odell is in the same tier as Jarvis, DK Metcalf, T.Y. Hilton, AJ Green, Terry McLaurin, all that stuff, if you think they're all in the same tier, well then just save a few $100. You can get a unique lineup, and then you could win that $1 million all by yourself. So if you know what I mean. But if you think Odell is in a tier above and you think he should be in the conversation with Ridley and Golladay and Chark, all that stuff, even though it's a bad matchup against Baltimore, Odell should be fairly low owned. So not very many people will be using Odell. So right away you get a leg up on the competition already. So here I just did a live DraftKings lineup for you. These are guys I like. These are guys I'm playing right now. I just put $5 in the Million Maker. If you want to use the same lineup as me, I maybe wouldn't recommend it, but I wouldn't mind sharing $500,000 with you. So thanks a lot, guys. I just did a live matchup on the air. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment. How was my lineup? Is it crazy? Is it too much? Get me in the comments below. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.